Yeah, hello from Otter Tail Lake here in Minnesota. Being a longtime owner of a SE21, I just thought I'd just got done with my third outing of the day here this evening. Now the wind went down, so just got a little peaceful sail this evening. But I just thought I'd share a couple things I've learned about my 21 over the years, and a lot of simple things, but sometimes simple things can be real helpful. So I'm going to flip the phone. And so this is one thing here back on the Traveler. I think all the 21s are basically the same. I have seen a couple with a little different variations, but you just have a Traveler that goes completely all the way across, and the car moves freely along that track in here. Well, if it releases in a hurry in here, the car can travel rapidly across and it'll whack that little plastic thing, and speaking from experience, it'll just shatter that thing and all the little ball bearings fall out of your Traveler and you kind of got a mess. So what I've done is on the Traveler adjuster here, I have a knot, so it just stops short. Even if it's released, it stops short, so I can never have the Traveler car slam into the end stop over here. Real simple thing. I've never ran into any problems that that knot causes in my main sheet loop. So that's something that might save you some headaches and rebuilding your Traveler car, putting new little bearings in there. So another thing, I guess here in the back of the boat, I do secure my wings on so they can't come out of the pocket in case of a capsize. Luckily, I've only capsized this thing a few times. Not recommended. They're a much more fun boat when they're right side up. So one thing I've done, I do quite a bit of sailing from the trapeze wire off the wing, and I had a nice adjustable tiller handle here, but after a couple different times when at the least the worst possible time, you know, I get a little twist on it and all of a sudden, you know, your length of your tiller handle is changing. So I've actually just fixed mine. I have it padded up with the cork on the end and some extra padding on the way up, and like I say, I just sail with my tiller handle extended at all times. Even if you're sitting on the wing, it's just fine. Another thing that I've got here, I call them my hams holders, a beverage of choice. But so in all four corners of the wings, I have this little PVC vent, and you got to get the specific kind. I can't remember what the name of it is. The icon has a little, like a little Indian chief on it or whatever, but it's got just these little ridges inside, and it'll securely hold a basic beer can like a hams can, which is very nice, because you, especially if you're single handling this boat, many times you absolutely need to be using both hands. So I've got those in all four corners of the wings for passengers or when you're on the other side of the boat. The other benefit that the rear ones do, it won't let your tiller extension fall off the back, you know, slide off your wing and be dragging on behind you. That's a big, long, heavy tiller handle. It's kind of interesting to try to get that if you're under speed and you'd lose your tiller handle slides off the end. So probably the most important feature is the hams holder, but it's an added benefit to keep your tiller extension from falling overboard. So otherwise, everything towards the back is pretty much the same. We bought the boat, someone had put this motor mount on here. We did use it with a little 2-horse for a while, but it was kind of a pain. And instead of a motor, I carry a cell phone, and friends and neighbors can come and tow me in if I ran out of wind or something, some such things. The other thing is on the boards, I'm actually in the middle setting here now. If I raise my board up all the way. I've actually got the handle, about a foot of rope, the knot, another foot of rope, and then the 2 knots below. And I found it helpful. Usually the handle is right down on the top of this knot, and I found it it's less of a trip hazard if it's not sticking straight up your little handle, and it's just easier for me to grab it at the right height. I do sail the boat single-handedly quite a bit, so a lot of my little modifications are to make life simpler if you're single-handling the boat. I always carry an extra pin here. It can be useful. Haven't taken it out for a while. I see it's a little sticky, and I've put some WD-40 on that, but if I was desperate, I could definitely get it out. Doesn't serve any purpose there other than it's a place to carry an extra pin, just in case you drop the one for the sail back here. And I do actually have that tied on a little lanyard. I found that helpful too, that it's always right where you need it. You got to make sure you don't make your lanyard too long where it gets tackled in your, or gets tangled in your blocks here in the back. But I've kind of come up with a length that keeps the pin handy and yet doesn't get in the way. Let's see. So this is, I think, a non-standard for the mast rotation. I've used, actually it's what's used on the adjustable trapeze is what it is. But I've got it set up with another little block back here, and then I can come up here so I can quickly change and latch it in there securely, and then I usually just drop the tail through the wishbone here, and then it holds nice and secure. So that's a nice way to do that, so you don't have to worry about that slipping. The outhaul on the boat is kind of the standard issue with an extra latch locking block added there. I'm thinking about changing that to the same as the mast rotation in the back, although I find myself, I'm not a racer, I'm just a cruiser. I'm not big on adjusting the outhaul. I've kind of got it set at a happy spot, and that's kind of where it stays. But I am thinking about upgrading that also. And then the downhaul, I think this is pretty much standard. I do have a twisted shackle here, but it works nice, and you can latch it and release it quickly here and get some good pressure on your downhaul. Another modification I made here after wearing through a few of those pulleys over the years. There used to be a little tiny pulley at the bottom of the mast here for your main halyard to go around while you're raising the main, and I've come up with this little, I had to do some slight modification. I don't remember exactly how I did it here. I guess I riveted a little bracket in here, but I've had this for several years, and it's nice when you're raising the main. You're doing it by yourself, and you might get your battens caught on something, and it's just a big sail. And I have an aftermarket, I don't even know, this came with another used 21 that a friend of mine had, but it's very heavy weight and kind of old and little, not the prettiest thing in the world, but it works well, but it's very heavy. So when you're raising the main and you haven't latched it at the top of the mast with your mast latch, you can just stop anywhere along that, or you could even use it if you wanted to reef the sail. This sail does have one reefing point in. I've never tried to sail with it reefed, but it would definitely hold the sail up just fine. I prefer to latch it on the top of the mast like it's designed to, but I find having that locking block here, you know, it's a bigger block and then a latching block when you're putting the sail up, it's real handy too. Gonna be kind of fighting the sunshine here. It's sun is going down, kind of looking right into it. I keep a mooring bridle on at all times, and when I'm sailing, then I just have a bungee cord. It's laying down in the water there. So I've always got that. I've had people comment on my videos, what's that extra line out there? Well, that's just my mooring line, and I like to be able to quickly hook it up to a mooring when I'm coming in here. I've got kind of tight quarters here at my house. Got rocks along the shore, and then a little kayak rack over there, and this is the neighbor's dock next to me. And this is got 3 Hobies out here. I got an 18 and a 14 sitting out here, and then a 21 goes in that empty lift. So like tonight I sailed in right between my pontoon and the 14, so you can see I got really tight quarters. So it's important that when I get out I can get the boat on the mooring right away. So that's why I like to keep my harness on at all times. And over here behind me I got a Getaway. I call it the minivan of Hobies. And yeah, they're an awful nice boat. Not the performance obviously of a 21 or even a 16 or a 14 probably, but or an 18, but very versatile, carry lots of weight. So, and very easy, no boards, no boomless design. If you're not familiar with the Getaway, it's awesome all-around boat. Really, if I had to get down to one Hobie, I'd hate to say it, but I'd probably have to keep the Getaway, because I can take that out with my grandkids and people of any age and lots of people. So it's a good boat. But I have had the 21. I owned it with a friend of mine for many years, and then ended up buying out his half. So I've been the sole owner of it for several years now, and I've sailed this boat an awful lot. And it's a fun boat, lots of power if you don't have a 21. If you do have a 21, I don't have to tell you that it's a lot of sail area, and I just use the jib. We've messed around with a reacher on one of my friend's 21s, and for our type of just cruising sailing, we found it really isn't worth the hassle, because like you say, with the fair-sized jib and the relatively large main, I don't remember what the square footage is off the top of my head, and like I say, this is an aftermarket one, and I think it's cut a little fuller at the top as well. Anyway, that's just a few things that I probably missed a thing or two, but there's a couple things that might be some hints for you. Maybe you'll be adding hams holders to your boat at some time. So I just thought I'd try to get a little useful information here. I'm going to post this to the Hobie 21 SE group. So good evening from Otter Tail Lake.